Yes, you want me to just give you the CDs inside? Well, then I'll be able to give them to you. Bonjour.
Yvette, comment ça va?
Ça va bien, toi? J'ai excité pour jouer la musique ce soir.
Great.
Yep,
Thank you so much.
that's it. Je m'appelle Yvette Landry, and I'm here from Bridge, Louisiana, to play the festival in Saulieu with my friends Roddie Romero and Beau Thomas.
I'm from Lafayette, and I'm here to play accordion and guitar and sing some songs with
Slide guitar.
slide guitar, yes.
And I'm from Abbeville, Louisiana.
Like,
J'habite à Lafayette. Ouais, ouais. Bobby Charles. Bobby Charles et mon père étaient la même école.
Okay.
Ouais.
Okay.
I like him, yeah. He's good, good. You know what's better than good is good, good. And three good is really good. Roddie's three good.
Well, you know, this band that we got,
Yeah.
Sasha and Antoine were touring with us in Germany. That's where we met them. Last night was the first time that we played together as a group. Yeah.
J'ai reçu un email un jour d'Yvette qui a dit ouais, on joue à Saulieu, est-ce que tu serais chaud de jouer avec nous? Bah, j'ai dit oui, bien évidemment. Elle a l'air d'avoir du caractère et tout, et elle est super sympa, et non, elle est vraiment adorable, quoi.
Alors j'ai rencontré Yvette, Roddie et Beau lors d'une tournée en Allemagne, le Cajun Blues and Zydeco Festival organisé par Michael Bentley, et j'ai joué là-bas avec Papa Mali de la Nouvelle-Orléans. Et c'est là que j'ai rencontré Yvette, Roddie et Beau. Et tous les soirs on faisait une jam après les 3 concerts, et on a joué ensemble et on s'est plutôt bien entendu, et voilà, et je me suis retrouvé à Saulieu. Mais je connaissais pas vraiment la musique cajun, j'ai l'impression qu'on se finit toujours par se comprendre. Et puis c'est un peu les racines de toutes les musiques que j'aime bien, alors même si on n'y connaît rien, enfin, ça finit quand même par fonctionner.
Okay.
If you use a GI, because when you use the amp output,
There's a company out in California. I don't remember the name. Waterside. The Cooter Casters.
Yeah, 2 drummers, guitar.
That's one of the things, we don't sound good unless they, and I've played in a lot of festivals where it doesn't always work out so well, but this is top notch. Yep. I mean, it's amazing. And yesterday, to walk down the street and have a bunch of people from France and all over Europe playing our music from down at home, it gives you, that gives you the frissons, like we say back at home. It's amazing. It's amazing that our culture made it across the pond. It's great. And then tonight with all the lights and the smoke, I feel like a superstar.
You are. You are. Yeah, for real.
That'd be great. Just one phone.
Helping me didn't speak much English, and there was a lady on the side of me, and I'm like,
Ça y est, c'est dans la boîte, ça va beaucoup mieux. On est déjà sûr que l'avion a décollé et a atterri. Ça, c'est un progrès énorme. Et puis quand les musiciens sont déjà sur scène en train de balancer, là tu te dis que tu tiens le bon bout.
you know, it's not something that my family really listened to. They listened to country music and they listened to swamp pop, a lot of swamp pop. And it wasn't until I started playing Cajun music and started finding out people like Dewey Balfa and Oaktown Clark and all these people, and they're, you know, when you realize what an influence they have and how special these guys are, and to think that they were playing music 2 blocks from my house, and I never, like, I just never went, I never knew. So yeah, matter of fact, the first time I met Christine Balfa was in the grocery store. I had no idea who she was. I had just started playing music, and we're standing in line, and she turns around and she says, hello, and I'm like, hi. You know, we just kind of started having this conversation, and she asked me, she said, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a school teacher, but I started playing music, you know, with a big old smile on my face. And she says, oh, I play music too. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. I said, what kind of music do you play? She says, I play Cajun music. I said, really? Me too. I played this gig with Balfa Toujours, which I had no idea who Balfa Toujours was or who Christine Balfa was. And somebody said, well, what'd you do this weekend? I said, you're not gonna believe this. I said, I got to play some music. And they said, well, who'd you play with? I said, oh, what's her name? I said, it's Christine something. Christine, it's a weird, it starts with a B, something like that. And they were like, Christine Balfa, you got to play music with Christine Balfa? But I had no idea that she was the queen of Cajun music. I just had no idea. Fast forward 2004, I bought myself a bass guitar, and somebody said, well, you know, there's a Cajun jam down the road at Mitch Reed's shop. Yeah. And my first question was, who's Mitch Reed? I had no idea, you know, who he was. And I happened to pass by his store one day and I saw the cars, and I said, oh, today's the day that they have that jam. I'm gonna go inside. And I went inside, and that was the first Cajun jam I had ever seen or been to. And kind of like Roddie when he heard Sonny Landreth, it changed my life. I ended up 3 months later being hired on as the bass player with the Lafayette Rhythm Devils. And this little tiny snowball just kind of started rolling downhill, and it hasn't stopped. 14 years later, it just keeps going and going and going.
Madame Yvette Landry de BRUNEAU.
So I ended up playing bass with the Lafayette Rhythm Devils, and then I ended up co-founding Bonsoir Catin, which that band was nominated for a Grammy. And then in 2010, I released my first CD. I started writing songs and released my first CD, which is more along the lines of, I guess you'd call it Americana or roots country kind of music. And then another in 2012 of all original songs. And then in 2014, Richard Como and I, who's a steel guitar player, we released another CD, which is classic country. You know, some of the old Ernest Tubb and Hank Williams and Patsy Cline and that sort of stuff, just the two of us.
Apart from the laughter and tears, while scenes from the past right for me, I'm watching the balls in blue. A vision of someone who loves me brings a long silent tear to my eyes, and I know that my life's been a failure while watching the balls in blue. Come on, Tito.
So, well, you know, Roddie and I recorded I'm Leaving It Up to You, the song at LOUISIANA.
Yeah.
And Beau and Richard Como and I play in a band together, in my band. And Richard couldn't make it one day, and I asked Roddie to play a gig with me. And so while we were rehearsing, I don't know if you even remember this, maybe you do. So we were rehearsing at the house, and of course I said, well, what do you want to sing? Because, I mean, he's Roddie Romero, and you want Roddie Romero to sing. And he's so humble, and he just said, well, why don't we do one together? And so I said, okay, what do you want to do? And he said, let's do I'm Leaving It Up to You. And we did it together, and we both liked it. So he said, you know, we should record that. So we did. We went into the studio and recorded it.
I'm leaving it up to you. You decide what you gonna do. Now do you want my love? Oh, are we through? I was a fool in the past. Might have known would last. Now do you want my love? Oh, are we through? I got my heart in my hand. Oh, baby, I don't understand. What have I done wrong? I worship the ground you walk on. That's why I'm leaving it up to you. You decide what you're gonna do. Now do you want my love? Oh, are we through?
I've got my heart in your hand. Oh, baby, I don't understand. What have I done wrong? You worship the ground I walk on.
That's why I'm leaving it up to you. You decide what you're gonna do. Now do you want my love? Oh, are we through?
Well, my main influence comes from a Cajun fiddler named Lionel Leleu. Il a fait le violon et jouait du violon. But then I started to listen to Stéphane Grappelli and like the jazz violin and rock and roll. And one of my mentors was a saxophone player, John Smith of the Boogie Kings. So I have a big influence of. Stuff, but I also love our older Cajun influences of violin. And when you listen to these older musicians at first, it sounds raw and maybe a little scratchy or whatnot, but when you really pick it apart, it's amazing, from the accordion players to the violinists. So I tried to mimic a lot of the accordion parts too on violin, you know, and not just the styles of other fiddle players.
Why, baby, why you treat me that way?
I listened to lots of Aldous Roger and Ira Lejeune, Amédée Ardouin, accordion players like that growing up, until some of the younger players came around. Younger, I say Wayne Toups and Zachary Richard, and maybe people from my generation when I started listening really hard and practicing and playing along with records. Slide guitar, well, it all started with Papa Cairo. That led into some of the great steel players like Rodney Miller, and then slide guitar kind of worked its way in with Sonny Landreth. I first got to see him maybe when I was 15, 16 years old at the Montreal Jazz Festival. And I was forever changed when I heard the sound that was coming out of his guitar. And as soon as I heard it, that's what I wanted to do. And my path kind of took another turn. I've had one band, really, I feel, all of my life, that's kind of evolved into the Hub City All-Stars, which is kind of represents what Lafayette is, the Hub City. musicians have come and gone through that band, and it's evolved into kind of a Louisiana roots band where we do swamp pop and we do Cajun and we do Zydeco, and a representation of South Louisiana. We recorded a record 10 plus years ago called LOUISIANA Sessions at a great famous studio, LOUISIANA, right there in Lafayette. We were nominated for that recording, and then a couple of years ago for the record called Gulfstream. And then now we have a fantastic record that's called Louisiana Lovin' with these beautiful people here.
Yeah. Hopefully. So we talked about making a record. That was in 2014. Okay. 3 and 4 years has passed, and we're still talking about, we really need to get in the studio. And when we were touring in Germany, so I said, well, let's lock it down. Look at the calendar. When are you free? And so he said, you know, when he was free, and we were all free. And then I called, sent Dockside an email message, and they had a date in January. And I knew that I wanted to have my bass player in the band, and I knew that I wanted to have Roddie in the band, and I knew that I wanted to have Eric in the band because I wanted that swamp pop feel, and I knew I wanted the keys in there. And then I had heard Jermaine Prejean, the drummer. I didn't know who Jermaine was, but as I was walking through the front gate of the Blue Moon, I could hear this drummer playing, and I remember stopping in my tracks and just listening and going, who the heck is that? Like, who is that man? And that was probably in 2010 maybe, and I remember thinking to myself, before I die, I want to play music with that guy. And then, you know, swamp pop music calls for a saxophone player, and Roddie has a sax player, which is, you know, so I basically got Roddie's band and threw in a little bit of my band, and we just kind of mixed them together. And it just,
gumbo.
It's a good gumbo, yeah. Excellent, yeah. With a new band called Yvette Landry and the Jukes.
I haven't seen my fingers since I don't know when. I turn it on just to turn it off again. Seems like there are ways to just run cold. What happened to rock and roll soul radio? I used to crank it up and blow a rockin' house party. I dialed it in and found some lonely Miss Claudie. Now the records don't pop and the tubes don't blow. What happened to rock and roll soul radio? Real tight. It was sway to the left, it was sway to the right. Now who's a DJ? Does anybody know? What happened to rock and roll soul radio? Lock in the station, a rockin' antenna across the Chapel Basin. Well, the gator got the blues and the crawfish got the soul. Ain't a damn thing wrong with Zydeco radio. Zydeco radio with the rock and roll soul. Ain't nothing wrong
are in the middle of the night in Saulieu after the gig of a new band.
Yeah, we had decided 4 years ago that we wanted to record again together. You know, we recorded the "I'm Leaving It Up to You" song that Dale and Grace recorded in 1963.
I know the song from when I was a very little kid. You know, last night I had a dream. Me singing that song with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
By that.
All right.
I'm leaving it up to you. You decide you're gonna do. Now do you want my love? Or are we through? Now it's your part. Thank you very much. A dream come true.
You're on your own.
Okay.